Hello, I extend a warm welcome to Shalom tutorial. In this video lecture, we will explore the fundamental principles governing the phenomenon of reflection. However, before we delve into this topic, let us first comprehend what exactly reflection is. To grasp the concept of reflection, I would like to pose a question to all of you. How do we perceive our surroundings? How do we see the things? Let's approach this question from a different angle. In the accompanying GIF, you can observe a person toggling a light switch. I want you to carefully consider what you perceive from both the person's perspective and your own. What we can discern is that as soon as the light is switched on, we gain the ability to see the person and the objects surrounding them. Similarly, from the person's viewpoint, the same holds true. This is something we encounter in our daily lives. When we enter a dark room, we instinctively reach for the light, switch, or any nearby object. But the moment the light is turned on, everything becomes visible. Why does this happen? The answer lies in the phenomenon of reflection. Let us try to understand the reflection through bouncing of ball. As the ball hits the ground and bounces back, so the ray of light. When the ray of light hits any surface of the object, it is bounced back. This bouncing back of light is called reflection. Reflection, therefore, technically defined as a phenomenon in which light, on striking a surface, changes its direction and is thrown back into the same medium. Reflection is of two types. The first one is specular or regular reflection, and the second one is diffuse or irregular reflection. And we are going to talk about it in the following slides. Let us see the reflection more practically. There is a wall, but you can't see it in dark. There is a source of light, say candle. Light ray emerging from the candle hits the wall and reflected. This reflected ray reaches to your eyes and you are able to see. This is how we see the things around us only when the light falls on it. Now we'll try to understand the laws of reflection. Suppose we have an object and it has got a polished surface and a ray of light is actually hitting this polished surface at point P. Now this ray of light which is hitting the polished surface is called as incident ray, and this point P at which it is hitting the polished surface is called as the point of incidence. Now suppose if we draw a perpendicular line from this point of incidence and it is perpendicular to the polished surface, we denote it by NN and it is called as normal. Now the incident ray makes some angle with the normal and it is denoted by theta I. Theta I is called as angle of incidence. Now this incident ray, after hitting the polished surface at point P, will move in another direction and you call it as a reflected ray. This reflected ray makes some angle with the normal and it is denoted by theta r and it is called as angle of reflection. Now based on this following experiment, these observations are made. The first observation that was made, the incident ray normal to the mirror at the point of incidence and the reflected ray, they all lie in the same plane, and this is actually the first law of reflection. Then the second observation that was made, the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. What it means? That is theta I equals to theta. That means this angle theta I is equal to theta r. So the angle made by the incident ray with the normal is equal to the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal. So this is actually the second law of reflection. Now to illustrate the laws of reflection diagrammatically, we need to learn how to create such diagrams. So we are going to learn how to draw the diagrams and how to explain the laws of reflection with the help of the diagram. So first we'll draw a rectangular block which will denote an object having a polished surface, and on this rectangular block the incident ray will be directed at point P, and point P is known as a point of incidence. From this point P we are going to draw a perpendicular which is called as normal. So this perpendicular NN we have drawn over here. Next we are going to draw the angle between the incident ray and the normal, which is denoted by theta I. And then we are going to draw the reflected ray. So the incident ray after hitting the point P will be reflected in a direction, and it is called as a reflected ray, and this reflected ray is going to make an angle of theta r, which is called as angle of reflection. So theta I equals to theta r according to the law of reflection. And you can see over here the incident ray, the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, that is the point P, and the reflected ray, they all lie in the same plane. So it's the first law of reflection, and then the second law of reflection is theta I equals to theta r. So this is how we are going to diagrammatically represent the law of reflection. Once again, let's firmly grasp the statement of laws of reflection. The first law states that the incident ray, normal to the mirror or the polished surface at the point of incidence, which you can see over here is point P, and the reflected ray, they all lie in the same plane. And the second law states that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. So theta I is equals to theta r. One more interesting fact that we have to keep in mind is that these laws of reflection are applicable to all types of reflecting surfaces, including spherical surfaces. So any type of reflecting surface, you can see over here, the wavy surface is there, water surface is there, then spherical surface is there, sphere is there, polished surfaces are there. Any type of reflecting surface, any type of surface you take, the laws of reflection is being followed by all kind of surfaces. In this slide, we are going to see about regular and diffused reflection, as I have mentioned earlier in the slides. So what is regular and diffused reflection? So regular reflection, it's a reflection from a smooth surface like that of a mirror. Such kind of reflection is called as regular reflection or specular reflection. So whatever reflections that you are getting from a smooth polished surface, for example a mirror, a tile, so those kind of reflections are called as a specular reflection or regular reflection. Now we'll see the diffused reflection. So if there is a rough surface, irregular surface, so the reflection on such kind of surfaces are actually termed as diffused or irregular reflection. So when all the parallel rays reflected from a rough or irregular surface, they are not parallel, and the reflection is known as diffused or irregular reflection. In the conclusion, let me one more time state the laws of reflection. The incident ray, the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray, they all lie in the same plane, and the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. I trust that you have all comprehended the laws of reflection well. Should you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to reach out to us via email at tutorialshalom@gmail.com or through WhatsApp. Thank you for choosing Shalom Tutorial. Enjoy your learning experience with us.